Alright guys, what's up? I am here in the studio with Papa Joel. Welcome back to Punisher's channel. Today we're going to be talking about two very comparable guns from a price point standpoint. The Rise CZR and the Empire Mini GS. I have personally used earlier versions of both these guns. I had an invert Mini years ago, and then when I first started with Ohio State, I shot the original Rise. So this will be pretty close to home for me, I think, knowing both these guns decently well. Joel told me there's not really much that changed from the Rise to the Rise CZR, so with that out of the way, guys, remember to subscribe to the channel here. Definitely comment below which one is going to be your choice, which one you prefer. There will be a link in the description as well if you'd like to pick up either one of these bad boys, so be sure to use that when you're done watching. We'll catch you after the intro. Alright guys, so I'm going to dive right on into this one, and if you haven't seen our other video about gun comparisons, we are running kind of a newer structure just to keep things a little more consistent from video to video, help us get through them maybe quicker, if not quicker, at least keep the conversation rolling a little better for you guys, and then just kind of help us like actually score these things against each other and really kind of keep accountable on what the differences are between each gun and what's the pluses and minuses. So we have a cheat sheet here, don't mind us if we're looking at it, and yeah, without any further ado,
First category, Doug.
First category is going to be just features overall, and we'll hammer this out more as the series goes, but we are going to start here by just looking at like boxing, packaging, stuff like that. So both come in the cardboard box kind of deal. I'm going to open one of the, and this is actually a downgrade, I would actually say, from what the Rise used to be, because it used to have kind of a cardboard slip but then a real case. But, okay, so you got warranty and a light startup manual, how to use it. Warranty card, marker itself, I will take out. Foam to keep everything divided, which is cool. And then in here, you do have everything that you could need. Your single barrel, battery, lube, your parts kit, your wrenches that don't come in a holder, it's just a plastic bag, and then the barrel sock as well. So, two-piece barrel, and I believe it is a two-piece barrel for the Mini now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so the Empire Mini GS does have a two-piece barrel. Similar to Doug's stuff, you are going to have a barrel cover, nice Empire branded one, so it's a little bit nicer than what comes with the die.
That does not get branded at all.
Yeah, a little bit of lube here. You've got Allen keys, only 2 Allen keys needed to maintenance the entire gun, and then some extra screws, O-rings to maintenance the Mini GS. So very, very comparable in my personal opinion between the two, between the Mini GS.
Yeah, it's kind of a wash. Here, I'm just going to get this off the table.
Yep.
Don't mind me. Just dragging my ass here. Okay. Alrighty.
Alright, so here we are. We've got the Mini GS is going to come with a 2-piece 14-inch Empire driver barrel. Doug, what you got there?
We got a 2-piece 14-inch barrel. I don't even know the name of the barrel that comes with these things, honestly. Does it have a name?
I think it's the core barrel system, but
Okay.
but it's basically a UL barrel for the most part, like a cheaper UL barrel.
Just a different ported tip. But
yeah.
It's ported pretty nicely. It's a straight porting, whereas is that a spiral porting now?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a spiral porting. So
I do prefer spiral porting, not gonna lie, I think it's kind of cooler, but the bore size, I don't even know if it says the bore size.
That's going to be an 8.8, and I think this is an 8.8 as well.
Barrel, kind of a wash.
Yeah, so I would say overall wash for the barrel system. Features wise, the next feature would be like the board and the electronics behind the two. The electronics on the Mini GS, you're going to have an LCD screen, so to turn that on and tune it and all that stuff, there's going to be a button rate on the foregrip here. So overall, like between the two, as far as the boards and all that stuff, it's going to be the same. What are you doing?
I'm trying to barrel off.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about the eyes later. But
oh, I see.
Yeah.
He's already lining up one of his best features on the gun.
Neither one of these guys are going to have an actual screen. It's really just a series of lights and whatnot to like program. So, yeah.
Wash there.
Wash once again. You do get a blinker to let you know what's going on with the gun, if the eyes are on or off or whatever. So, cool. That's fine. Next, I would like to go with feed neck, eyes, and then trigger. So, feed neck, this is...
Wash.
Is that one also plastic? Yeah, it's also plastic. That's also an interesting downgrade from the Rise when that was a thing, is that was not a plastic feed neck. So they,
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
To be fair, so is this one. This one's plastic.
they are, yeah. I'm just for the sake of comparing these two, both are plastic. This can be tightened with Allen key, or I'm assuming, but yeah, it looks like by rotating this as well.
Yep.
That can it only be tightened by? Okay, only Allen. No, it's got both Allen key, or does it rotate as well? Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
So total wash. As far as height of them too, they look damn near the same. I think yours is a little shorter.
Oh, as far as feet-necks go,
Yeah,
they're
as far as height.
gonna be very similar.
So, and then we'll get on to eyes, which is a winning feature for this bad boy. Introducing the eye pipe here. Just makes maintenance really easy. This also has your detents in it as well. So that's, I mean, like if that goes, it's pretty easy to find one, or like $10 to replace or something like that.
Yeah, they're like $15, I think.
So
Something
really
like
not bad. And you won't have to replace it as long as you don't over tighten your barrel
Mhm.
and, generally be stupid. But in the event that you do have to get into the eyes themselves, and we were talking about this on the DSR, I'm assuming it's somewhat similar, like it's probably going to be a little difficult to get to just from what little I have taken apart my own Rise when I had one. Just like there's a lot going on between here, so you don't really need to though, because when you take out the eye pipe, you can clean this on its own and then let it air dry if you decide to get it wet, and then just a swab through here will take care of pretty much everything. If anything beyond that, I can't help you.
Yep.
That one's on you. But then for the Mini here, to get to the eyes, you do have to take the whole thing apart, take it off here. I will say, it is, at least back in the day, it was pretty much wireless. It was just the connect. Like there are wires up there for it, but as far as getting it together and apart, it was just nodes. That
Correct. Yeah, it's just a pin contact pad, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I will give it that there's less chance of screwing something up when you put that back together, but for the sake of maintenance and just getting to the eyes, I'm going to give it to the CZR to just get in there and clean these bad boys out.
Yep.
And
As far as other features guys go, like, so Doug, you pointed out on the eyes, but other than that, like, it's you're going to need Allen screws to change the battery.
Also going to need Allen screws to change the battery.
Yeah.
That's actually going to be on this side.
Yeah. Bolt system wise, we'll get into the maintenance here in a second. But features wise, guys, like, they're very, very close
These
together.
are extremely comparable.
I would probably give it to the CZR just simply because of what you talked about with the eyes between the two. But both are going to come with 2-piece barrels. One is not going to be more toolless than the other. So features wise, I'm going to say it's a wash between the two.
As far as trigger goes, this feels like it's now plastic, where it previously wasn't, unless I'm wrong, but that definitely feels like composite material. And this is a micro switch trigger, whereas this bad boy, if it hasn't changed, is a magnetic trigger, correct? Or is it magnet plus?
No,
micro
it
switch?
is micro switch.
It's micro switch now?
Yes,
Okay, because
it
I remember
is
back in the day,
micro switch.
I loved the magnetic. I thought that was super smooth, but if this is now also going to be micro switch, then...
Yep.
Well, no, I still see the magnet there, actually.
Yeah, so there is a magnet, but as far as like activating the actual gun, it is a micro switch of the upper board.
Got it.
So
I do still think this feels smoother to me than the die trigger for the CZR.
I'd agree.
In my opinion. So I give trigger to the Mini. So first of all, that'll be the first real winning feature, I would say. Next, if we just kind of keep going down the line here, we could talk about air regulators and whatnot. So on-off has a lever here. On-off, I believe, is a lever underneath. So both are a lever. I do like this lever a little better. Personally, it's metal. To me, it seems like a little more durable because these can crack. These can have a lot of issues with them. So, and it can just be annoying to get to. Like you kind of tear off your fingernail sometimes degassing the gun. So I might give the ASA portion, or I should say the air on-off to the Mini. That thing is humongous though, with like the gauge on it and everything.
Yeah, it does have a gauge, and I've seen the gauge crack before.
Yeah, so. that is a lot. So that might be a wash, like 1 plus and 1 minus for each one. But the Mini is hoseless. As a hoseless gun, whereas here you're still dealing with macro line.
You got a point there.
You're still dealing with macro line going into the actual regulator here. So. To me, that can mess with ergonomics, and obviously we all dealt with it back in the day. But like, man, it's a modern day and age. I don't know.
So you're saying features-wise, you're gonna go with the Mini
for the air? Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would have even though that thing is a huge chunker, I think for the fact that it's hoseless, I would have to go with the Mini.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I was saying features-wise, I was gonna give it to the CZR because of the eyes, but now that you pointed out that, as far as like the ASA lever. As well as the trigger feeling a little bit better because it's, like a little bit more contoured, it's metal and all that stuff. Yeah, features wise, I guess if we have to choose, I'm going to probably pick the Mini GS, but in my personal opinion, they're really close. The macro line doesn't bother me, but that's also because I'm ancient. And
again, this is one of my first.
Yeah.
Actually, I had that before I had this, but I didn't really start getting into tournament paintball until I had this. Like, I played with it more, so again, I can deal with it, but I can see a lot of people not wanting to.
Yeah.
But next up, Joel,
Ergonomics.
and we could talk about the bolt as well, but these are both required tools to get the bolt out, and we don't want to make you sit here forever to watch that. I will say though, I find servicing the mini bolt to be a lot simpler.
It is.
Than servicing this guy, because you got to take the whole thing apart. The first time I ever did it, I forgot to actually screw the back cap back into the can, and then I put it all back in, aired it up, and air spewing back in my face. So I would say that bolt maintenance is going to be easier on the mini. Yeah, that's where my brain's at. I'm having a brain fart. So what's up next?
All right, guys. So we'll get into the maintenance, but yeah, I mean, you touched on the maintenance, but so ergonomics, guys, between the two is going to be a question mark. Between the two, I personally am probably going to pick the CZR on this one because the mini is called the mini for a reason. It's because it's super small. As you can see, there's very little space between the foregrip compared to the trigger frame of the marker, so it's very, very small. So if you're buying this for your 13-year-old son or daughter, this is great. For a big guy, you know, I'm 6'3", this is super small. This is super small. But you know,
neither of them are big.
Nice.
Neither of them are big, but here, if you want to put it like in front or behind, put it in front.
Yeah.
I like just like lengthwise, like it absolutely eats the mini. So you'll just have more space for your grip with this thing. Even despite this, you can still spread out more and just wrap your thumb over top or something, or put it along the side.
It feels more like a regular gun to me than the mini, whereas like the mini feels very specific to the mini. Like there's no other feel like it, you know.
Well, so from when this Proto series of guns came up, like body wise and size wise between the Proto series and the DM guns, they were really the same. It was the same shell.
Right.
There was just the internal features that were different. So this is what a premium level gun used to feel and handle like. So
that's true.
That's why this feels way more like a real thing. But this is such a good, easy gun to get your start with. And personally, in my opinion, if we can dive into one of the next features, which would be like build quality, reliability, and stuff like that, because we've already kind of handled on maintenance a little bit. I saw less problems with the Mini than I did with the Rises, like in general. Or I should say with the modern rendition of the Mini. Back in the day when they first launched, I know they were kind of a nightmare, but once they got the I believe it was the V3 Pop, it was the one that finally worked and didn't have any issues anymore. I haven't seen them really have problems since. But these guys, like when we did an order of them for Ohio State many years ago, a fair amount of them out of the box had like weird issues with them. So I would give it to the Empire Mini.
As far as build quality, yeah, guys, build quality and reliability, I would definitely go with the Mini as well. Kind of stemming from ergonomics to the build quality, one of the big things with the Mini GS is the fact that it is going to be all aluminum, whereas like the CZR has a lot of composite parts.
And aluminum, yeah, which they saved cost on. So
yeah, definitely save costs. You're going to be spending a little bit more money to get the Mini GS compared to the CZR, but it is all aluminum, so definitely like ergonomically feels better because it's solid metal.
You can smack them around. Oh,
yeah.
I just thought of one from a gameplay standpoint, from having watched a lot of kids. So obviously I played with one of these. I don't know, maybe there's something different about the old Mini versus the new ones, but we had a kid that when he started with Ohio State, he had this exact gun, and every time he dove, his hopper would fall off. And I haven't seen that happen with one of the die guns, so don't know what it is about that, but be careful when diving with one of these, I will say, because this is not the most secure setup anymore. Like,
well, I mean, I've seen plenty of people dive, so I'm not sure what happened as far as that goes back in the day, but like, it's just a screw right here, and if you tighten that down, like it's just as solid as any other feed neck. Like I've sold a ton of minis, and I see a lot of people playing with minis, and I don't really see anybody popping their loaders off. And
landed August of last year, 2021.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, I'm staying corrected then.
I've seen it on multiple guns. But what else do we really have, Joel, for features here? I feel like we kind of blew through this one.
Features and like ergonomics. So I would say features-wise, Mini wins. Ergonomically, I'm going to choose a CZR. Doug, which one do you choose?
I would choose CZR as well. Just fits in the hands better.
We're touched on build quality a little bit. I'm going to say Mini GS definitely on the build quality. Next thing would be weight. So let's weigh both of these markers and try and get an idea. I'm going to assume that the CZR is going to be... there is no battery in that.
I'll grab a battery real quick.
Yep. So while he's doing that, while he's grabbing the battery, we're going to weigh the Mini GS. Mini GS comes in at 1 pound, 14 ounces. So overall, not too bad, guys. Definitely a little bit lighter weight than some of like the high-end markers that are going to weigh right in at like the 2-pound mark. So it's going to weigh kind of in the same range as like a shocker amp. So, all right. So we've got the CZR with the battery, 1 pound, 12.4 ounces. So guys, the weight of the CZR definitely wins there. So another check mark for the CZR. Maintenance, Doug, you kind of already touched on that. I think I'm going to go with the Mini GS between the two.
I agree.
Because of the, extremely easy to maintenance the bolt system, whereas like that's a full
The whole bolt
system.
and can, and you gotta take it apart. And,
if you're coming back into the game or whatever the case may be, it's kind of like one of the old die bolts. There's a can, there's a bolt guide, and there's the bolt itself is longer and has a bolt tail and all that stuff. Whereas like this is just probably like 5 or 6 O-rings that you have to worry about. There's definitely more O-rings on the.
Well, in reality too, it's a different
CZR.
engine. This is a spool. That's a poppet. That's
True.
That's a contained poppet. So that's gonna
Inline, yeah.
definitely change up the shot a little bit as well.
That's good, true. Okay, so maintenance-wise, Mini GS wins. Build quality, Mini GS wins. Next thing would be tech support between the two.
Yep.
Tech support-wise,
That's a
guys,
question.
I mean, tech support, Empire is very good at supporting their products. You do get a warranty with the Mini GS. You are going to get a warranty with the CZR as well. Dye is very good about maintaining their markers as well. I'm going to say it's a wash between the two, just because like you're going to get a quick and fast turnaround and reliable turnaround between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a ton of things that can go wrong with either of these markers. So overall, I would say that tech support wise, probably going to be a wash between the two. The other thing that I like to mention is like if you're going to events, GI usually has a booth there no matter what. I would say Dye has booths. Yeah, it's a little bit more hit or miss depending upon the event that you're at. Like we were at Monster Game this last weekend, scenario event. There was no Dye booth, no Dye tech booth, but there was a Tippmann booth. I would assume that they probably had some, Mini GS parts because it's all an umbrella company. Tippmann is a different subcategory. Right? Yeah. So just something else to point on there. All right, Doug. Last thing. Before we go shoot these bad boys, upgradability between the two.
There's not really much you can do or buy for any, not that I've...
Yeah. So barrel-wise...
Yeah, I suppose you can.
Barrel-wise, you could upgrade either. They're both cock or thread, which is going to be really nice. It's going to be really hard to find Empire backs for this. You can get UL backs for that.
Die backs you can find, yeah.
So, yeah. So there is that. As far as, the actual gun itself goes... You can get a red line board for the Empire Mini GS,
right. And
so
there's
you can
also,
make it OLED.
There's different bolts and whatnot as well. We mentioned different Tech T. I bought the orange bolt a while back for my old Mini. So there's a bunch of different kind of bolts you can pick up if you want.
Tech T makes a Delrin bolt, and Exalt makes the Launch V3 bolt that you can put in this. That's supposed to lower your operating pressure and make for a smoother shot.
Gotcha.
So you can definitely. I would say upgradability is probably going to be this because, to my knowledge, I don't think that you could do anything trigger-wise or anything with the CZR. Guys, if I'm not right there, please leave in the comments. But to my knowledge, there's nothing really that you can do with the CZR as far as upgrading it.
Not usually that I've seen.
Yeah. Mini GS wins again.
Wins on that one.
All right, guys. So with that said, a bunch of check marks for both. We're going to go out and shoot these bad boys and talk about a few more elements to both markers before we make a final decision. See you guys there. All right, guys. So we're out back. We have both the Empire Mini GS and the Dye CZR. We're going to do a little shooting comparison between the two. We've got some HK Army level 3 paint that's shooting really good. We've found on both these guns. They're both shooting around 280. They've both got spires. They've both got carbon fiber HPA tanks. So we're going to do a little shooting comparison. We're going to compare shot quality, efficiency, as well as paint handling. This level 3 is kind of like in a medium bracket of brittleness, so we can definitely get a good vibe. Doug, you want to come around here? And we will show you guys what both these guns are all about. I'll give you guys my opinion on both. All right, first shot, 286, 285. All right, here we go. There you go. All right, so overall, Doug, this shoots really good. It's a little bit loud, it's a little bit poppy.
Yep.
I think it's definitely going to be a little bit louder than the CZR. We're going to come over here to the CZR. We're going to do the same thing. Going to crown all this bad boy here. All right, 290, 273, 300. So you guys can tell it's definitely a little bit quieter than the Mini GS. We're gonna shoot this. Here we go. Definitely. Definitely quieter and smoother. All right, so there you guys have it between the two. Shot quality wise, I am definitely gonna go with the Dye CZR on this one. Definitely quieter as well as a little bit smoother shooting. As far as efficiency goes between the two, I think they're gonna be comparable. Doug's
Probably.
got something to say.
Probably pretty comparable. I've shot them both. I've owned them both. For simplicity, I like the Mini and maintenance and whatnot and all that, but if you're looking for a gun that is a better segue into the higher end guns because of the frame of it and its bones really come from a higher end gun, I would go CZR. Shot quality as well, I think I would go CZR. So, and plus you're saving money too, it's a less expensive gun. So
Yeah.
I would say for both of us, we're probably looking at CZR. So
As far as shot quality,
yeah, as far as shot quality goes.
Efficiency, they're going to be relatively similar. And last thing would be paint handling between the two.
Yep.
They both handled that paint just fine, so I don't think that there's anything there.
Not a huge difference, no.
Yeah. So Doug, value-wise, between the two, which one are you going to go with? And why?
Value is the CZR.
Value's the CZR?
Value is the CZR. What about you?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go probably the Mini GS, just for the simple build quality and upgradability between
Fair.
the two. You can put an OLED red line board in the Empire Mini GS. You can also
true.
put a bolt in the Mini GS, which the CZR, you're kind of left with what you have. So for me, I'm going to go for an extra 25 to 50 bucks. I'm going to go with the Empire Mini GS.
Fair enough. You guys can make your own decision, but you'll let us know in the comments and with what you decide to click on. There will be a link, guys, in the description of this video, so you can purchase either one of these bad boys. There's Joel using them. But yeah, so use the link in the description to buy either one of these from Punishers. Thank you for watching once again, and we'll catch you next time.